Yeah, probably.
Okay, no worries. I'm actually going to go into an in-depth analysis right now. How's it going, everybody? Yours here, talking about a unreleased legendary Pokemon for Sun and Moon by the name of Marshadow. Now, Marshadow has not been officially released or revealed by Game Freak. All the information that we have about it is what we got through the data mines, I believe, in the early days of Sun and Moon when the whole Pokedex leaked before the game came out and that whole giant fiasco. But we actually do have a decent amount of information to work off of. As for how it will work with other Pokemon in terms of just like the tiers, whether it's OU or Ubers, that's what we're here to talk about right now. I wanted to just go through and kind of like speculate how or where I think it will be placed, and just take a look at some damage calcs and just some good sets that might work well with it. I am not the end-all be-all opinion on this. My thoughts are my thoughts alone. I just think this is how it should work. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. With the whole gag I had a bit earlier, do I think it's busted? I do think that it might be banned from OU if it's not put into Ubers immediately when it comes out, but again, that's what we're here to talk about. So, jumping straight into it, Marshadow is a fighting and ghost type. Now, this typing is absolutely fantastic, like, gotta be one of the best type combinations out there, and I will actually bring this up right now just to show. Now, these are all of the types that are able to, how they work against your own typing. Now, as for ghost and fighting against other typings, I believe it hits every single type in the game, at least neutrally. The only type combination that doesn't really, wouldn't be bothered by it would be normal and ghost, which does not exist currently. So, the typing is just fantastic that you're able to hit everything at least neutrally. And it also has some other moves maybe that could help deal with some of those problems as we're going on with other people and other Pokemon that can give it troubles. So taking a look at this, normal and fighting it's going to be immune to them. Poison and rock it'll resist, and bug it'll 4 times resist. As for the types you're going to be weak to with Marshadow, it'll be flying, psychic, ghost, and fairy. Overall, not that bad of a spread. A lot of moves are going to be kind of neutral against you. You're not going to be looking to be super defensive with this Pokemon. You're more so going to want to be offensive, but you could manage to be a bit bulky if you wanted to. We'll take a look at its stats actually right now. Marshadow's base stats are 90 HP, 125 attack, 80 defense, 90 special attack, 90 special defense, and 125 speed. The two biggest standout stats right here are 125 attack and 125 speed. Very reminiscent of something like a Weavile, but just a lot bulkier. And you're going to be able to take advantage of this greatly, especially with the type combination that you have. As for the 90, 80, and 90 defenses respectively, it's not bad. It's pretty good natural bulk. Again, you're probably not going to be wanting to focus on that as much as, and also special attack. You probably won't run a special attack set as often, but there is room to work with it because it does get access to Calm Mind, and its special move pool is actually pretty solid, as we'll see here in a tiny bit. Now, taking a look at the moves that I have here currently, I have Fire Punch, Spectral Thief, Close Combat, Shadow Sneak. These were just the main standouts that I picked. Some of them I did not include yet, and I'll go over right now. Let me go over actually its signature move right here, Spectral Thief. What Spectral Thief does is it's 90 base power, 100 accuracy, already a good start. Strong ghost move, especially on the physical side, very reminiscent of Shadow Bone, and definitely a way better option than Shadow Claw. But its secondary ability is it steals the target's boost before dealing damage. Now, I wanted to double check. I went through and I wanted to make sure this information is correct. When it says steals steals the target stat boost, I wanted to make sure, if they used a Swords Dance, you didn't just get a Swords Dance as well and they kept it. But from what I'm gathering is, let's say you have a Garchomp that uses Swords Dance and use Spectral Thief. You will take that Swords Dance. It will no longer be a +2. You will now be a +2, and then you will use the move following that stat raise you get, which is just mind-blowing. It's absolutely crazy. We've never heard of anything like that before. I believe Psych Up is kind of similar, but there's no attack following up. Let's take a look actually. Oh, alright, well, it's just looking up what it does. Regardless, it's just something we've never really seen before on a Pokemon, especially that will be kind of very viable, for sure viable. As for other moves that I have on here, I have Close Combat, just a very strong fighting type stab. Close Combat is super reliable. Shadow Sneak, it's always important to have priority. If you have priority, especially that stab, it is so important. Especially with its ability Technician. So your Shadow Sneak, instead of just doing the 40 plus the 20 with the stab, so 60 in total, you're going to be doing 80. It's very reminiscent of a Scissor's Bullet Punch, which is just look at this. All these things are just stacking up to make this Pokemon look absolutely incredible. And then the last move here I just have is Fire Punch. Fire Punch would be to hit stuff like Scizor or Ferrothorn just super effectively. Well, maybe not Ferrothorn, but more or less just Scizor. That way you get the super effective damage and can take care of it. But it also gets access to all the other elemental punches. So this isn't like Metagross where it only gets Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, but no Fire Punch. No, it gets Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch, the trifecta. And Shadow Punch, I guess, if you want to throw there, but just... that's a blessing, honestly. Having Ice Punch is such a blessing, especially in something like OU, where you have Pokemon like Landorus and Garchomp, potentially Salamence, and it may be the rare Flygon, but it's just such... having the ability to just choose what you want there and just mix up games is incredible. Plus, having Poison Jab, just maybe you want to hit some Fairy types super effectively. I'm sure that Spectral Thief would probably be able to get the job done, but you have the option there. It is there right in front of you. Stuff like Rock Slide, Stone Edge, didn't really see too much of a significant use for. Will-O-Wisp, always nice to have. Sucker Punch, more priority if you want a Dark type. I think that Shadow Sneak is probably just a better call. It actually is stronger and just gets the job done, the same old. And actually, I think I have some here. So yeah, just all the elemental punches, Poison Jab. And Pursuit was the last move I just kind of like thought, oh, that's cool. Mainly just because, if you wanted to get kind of like a revenge trap or something like that, scare Pokemon such as like Latios, which is actually UU now. Latios and UU, that's actually ridiculous. Never thought I would have seen that. I know in the Mimikyu video that I said I wasn't sure what tier that Mimikyu would be in, and I meant that after the fact, because right now it's currently in OU, which is still kind of strange to me, but like, maybe these tier shifts, it could change, but regardless, that's another Pokemon, so we'll focus right now on Marshadow. But the item I actually have right here is Marshadow Z, which is its signature Z move that you can use with an upgraded version of Spectral Thief. I believe it's like Soul Stealing 7. I'm gonna look this up right now. Soul Stealing. Cool. Soul Stealing 7-star Strike. It's the signature move. It's 195 base power for the Z move. Very, very strong. No secondary effect, so you won't be getting the Spectral Thief as far as I can tell. It's just a very, very strong Ghost Z move. Stronger than like Shadow Claw with the Ghost DMZ. I believe Ghost DMZ with like Shadow Claw is only 140 base power, so this is huge difference. It's gonna be very strong, especially coming off of a way higher attack stat. So you could probably use that just kind of catch Pokemon off guard, or something that might be able to take your hits a bit better. But of course, if you want more consistent damage, you could run something like Life Orb. I'm sure Banded would probably work pretty well in this Pokemon too. It has the speed and the power to back it up. Now that we've seen just like how cool this typing is and how good of a moveset this thing really has, let's go take a look at some of the calcs that I wanted to go through. So something like Landorus Firion, let's see, the common defensive Stealth Rocking set, and you have your Marshadow, your max attack, max speed, Jolly Nature with a Life Orb. Your Ice Punch is a 2 KO on this Landorus, just even with, well, we'll give it leftovers because it doesn't have leftovers right now. Yeah, it's still guaranteed to a KO after leftovers at -1 attack. So, alright, so that kind of sounds, Mega Lopunny-esque, but you're able to break through one of the big walls. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, let's take a look at Bulky Scizor, and we're going to change this to Fire Punch real quick. And you're doing 81.9 to 97%. It's a chance to kill after rocks. We'll say Stealth Rocks are up. Oh, not on that side, on this side. Okay, so it's a 62.5% chance to OHKO after rock, so it's in your favor, but it's definitely not a guaranteed kill, but it's doing so much that you can follow it up with Shadow Sneak. Regardless, you'll be faster, you're going to outspeed the Bullet Punch, and U-Turn's not going to do that much to you because you 4 times resist it. Taking a look at it, yeah, U-Turn's only doing about 10 to 12%. Regardless, it's mainly just to try and get out of there, but still you're going to outspeed it, and it's not going to do much to you. Bullet Punch isn't even doing that much to you. And you resist Stealth Rocks too, so you're not going to be taking the max 12% from that. So you're able to take on Scizor pretty well with Marshadow. As for other Pokemon in OU, that Marshadow would be kind of interesting to take a look at. Pokemon that might give it problems, I wasn't actually able to really find anything, just for the simple fact that its speed and its stabs are so good. Bulkier Pokemon, maybe like Celesteela on the physical side, that are just kind of like not really resistant, but just neutral to, might be a bit of an issue. Tell you what, let's actually take a look at that right now. Oh, if I could click the right tab. Celesteela. Just give it the benefit of the doubt, give it max HP, max defense, let's say bold nature, something like that. Close combat is still, oh, well, that's with Stealth Rocks, alright. Close combat is still doing a significant amount, 43.9 to 52.2%. Granted, with leftovers, this might be a bit of a story. It's going to be harder to take on with these leftovers, that's for sure. But like, it's still punching holes to the point where if you get it weakened, it can kind of put in the work. Especially if you get like a Spectral Thief on a Pokemon and steal its boost, then like I don't really know what's gonna stop it, because Marshadow not only has the ability to be scary, but it's more of a mind game kind of thing too. It's like, for example, if your opponent has like a Ditto, I know Ditto isn't really that common of a Pokemon and sometimes isn't that threatening, but like, you have to be aware that if you Swords Dance up, or if you like Rock Polish up, whatever, Calm Mind, if Ditto comes in, it's going to steal your stat boost and it might be able to potentially sweep your team. That's kind of the same like scare tactic here with Marshadow, is that like you will be afraid to boost up because Marshadow might be able to come in and take your stat boost. And who knows, people might start running like stuff like Choice Scarf. I don't know entirely what the best set will probably be. It's at such a good speed tier that I feel like it would probably just want to get off more damage. But if you take a look, just everything here, like, there's really nothing. There's definitely checks, that's for sure. Like, something like, you know, Pinsir with the quick attack is going to be super effective. Something like Tapu Lele, maybe Choice Scarf is going to be a bit of an issue because, you know, your Shadow Sneak's not going to work in Psychic Surge. And something like Toxic Peck will probably be able to burn you, but like there's nothing that's like super standout, like I feel like is gonna wall this Pokemon. And so that's why I kind of want to take a look at the Ubers Pokemon. Just go quickly over that. Now I don't know Ubers that well, I will be completely honest, but there are some Pokemon that I definitely know have very, very high usage in Ubers, and I took a look at some matches and just the viability rankings for Sun and Moon so far for Ubers just to get an idea. So let's take a look at Primal Groudon here. Oh, probably just have to type in Groudon. There we go. We'll take a look at the defensive set. So Close Combat's doing 40.9 to 48.3%, which is pretty solid damage, honestly, for something as bulky as this Primal Groudon of 160 base defense. That's incredible, but definitely kind of a problem. You're not going to be able to straight up kill it, that's for sure. And looking at how much Precipice Blades and Lava Plume do, it's probably going to be one of the scarier Pokemon to take on. You're going to want to weaken it, that is definitely for sure. But you do outspeed. If it were to, say, like Swords Dance up, that could be a bit of a different story there. Oh, I actually will just probably have to take the stat changes here and put it there. Yeah, see, that's, granted, this is not the right Groudon set, but let's take a look at something like, Swords Dance. Yeah, that damage is scary. That's the scary damage that you're looking for with the Spectral Thief. But you wanna probably look at this more importantly. But then again, after you get the boost, if you get kind of like a revenge kill on something, then you're gonna be able to abuse these stats on future other Pokemon. Something like Xerneas should be very interesting to check out. Geomancy, you're probably not gonna be able to get the boost necessarily unless they like Geomancy up and they're like, I don't know, you're running like min speed or something like that, because they're gonna outspeed you with the Geomancy in the next turn because of the Power Herb. So I don't really see that kind of coming into effect. But I guess it is kind of important just to see just general damage on how it is on this Pokemon. Overall, not amazing. How about something like Poison Jab? Would Poison Jab be a bit stronger? Yeah, Poison Jab is a tiny bit stronger. Still, Xerneas is probably going to be one of the most intimidating Pokemon that you're going to have to deal with, just because it's Xerneas. There's a reason why it's one of the best Pokemon in Ubers. Let's take a look at Yveltal. Flying Tank set. Close Combat still kind of putting in that work, doing 46 to 47%. But again, the thing with Close Combat that you're going to have to be aware of is this, the defense drops, and they're going to be able to just kind of get off a stronger attack. So this Foul Play will definitely be able to kill you after you go for the Close Combat. So one of the themes I'm kind of noticing right now, just fighting a lot of these Uber Pokemon, is that you're doing a decent chunk to them, but you're not getting the kills, and they're just able to kill you afterwards immediately. It's almost like this speed is kind of a hindrance, especially something like Spectral Thief. One of the Pokemon, though, that I was definitely thinking that it would do pretty well against is actually E-Killer Arceus, which is extremely good up in Ubers. For the simple fact that I checked, I believe the bulky E-Killer set ran about, I think it was 132 or like 124 in HP just to take it, but your Close Combat will be able to kill it regardless. It's guaranteed OHKO. Of course, they could be running more bulk investment, but just based off of the sets that I saw on Smogon, it's going to be able to do that. And Shadow Claw is unable to kill you even after rocks. And Earthquake's not going to be doing that much. They can't hit you with Extreme Speed after the Swords Dance up. Granted, you're not going to be able to Spectral Thief their boost away and then hit them, but you can kill them with Close Combat regardless. You're able to take on E-Killer, that's pretty crazy, honestly. And then one of the other, I believe, common Arceus sets is Arceus Water as of now, which is, kind of more or less the same thing that you saw with something like Yveltal or Xerneas, Primal Groudon, is that you're able to get off a good chunk, but you're not going to be able to do enough, and they're just going to kill you. So I don't think Marshadow will function that well if it's in Ubers. I think it will be very similar to something like Greninja, maybe last generation, where you'll see it every once in a while in Ubers, but it wasn't like a premier Pokemon. It wasn't your Xerneas, wasn't your Primal Groudon. It didn't even, I don't feel like, even got maybe as much use as something like Zekrom, but it's it's too good maybe for OU is what I'm getting at, and maybe we'll see that down the line. Who knows? Maybe I could be completely wrong, because everybody cried that Pheromosa was absolutely broken. Hell, I was on that train. I thought Pheromosa was just absolutely absurd with Bug and Fighting Stab, Ice Beam that covered Pokemon such as like Garchomp or Landorus. That might be a bit of a problem in Wallet, but it's a completely different story. Now, like, people have figured out how to fight Pheromosa. Granted, it's still a very, very good Pokemon, but there are definitely counters to it. Who knows? That could all change in a couple weeks. We're still in this stage in Sun and Moon where it's super early and not everything is settled, and so our whole world could get flipped upside down. We could lose, Ash Greninja coming up soon. We could see Pheromosa start to rise to the top. We could see Marshadow released, and we could see what it could do. But the point is that it's just such a kind of like unstable period, and that not every Pokemon has reached its full potential, especially the newer ones. But I feel like that's probably going to cover it for now, just talking with Marshadow. I'll probably do a deeper, in-depth analysis when it finally comes out, much in the style of Mimikyu, just do an episode of Pokevals for it, which I think will be very fun when we actually have the information to go about it. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. So if you like this video, yeah, go ahead and leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you think about Marshadow. When's it going to come out? Do you think it's going to be good and go to Ubers? Do you think it's going to be an OU for a tiny bit, or just stay there permanently? And subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. I'm going to try and get on a weekly basis, not going to try and burn myself out by doing like daily videos like I used to do. But yeah, and I will see you guys next time.